Okay, so now you either have this printed out in front of you or you can number your paper following along with what I'm doing. So there is no section A. So on my paper, when I was writing out my answer key, I just put The Road to Civil Rights as my title and then B, vocabulary, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that being said, let's look at the words and the definitions, and then I'm going to ask you to pause me and write down what you think, and then play so you can hear me go over the answers. That's the real way to learn. I know you can just listen to all the answers, but then you won't be learning anything, so I hope that you'll choose to challenge yourself. So number 1, activist. Number 2, segregation. Number 3, nonviolent. 4, discrimination. 5, integration. And 6, prejudice. So when one group is treated differently than another group, that is number 4, discrimination. So you'll want to put that down. If you haven't paused me yet, go ahead and pause me and try to put the letters with the numbers that you think are the right answer. And then when you press play, I'll go over the answers. B, intolerance of a person or group based on their race. We're talking about prejudice for that one. C, a person who protests to call attention to a cause like civil rights. That is an activist. D, peaceful. That is non-violent. So the types of demonstrations like the sit-ins and the peaceful marches that Martin Luther King encouraged. Letter F, keeping things or people separate. I'm talking about E, keeping things or people separate, and that goes with 2, segregation. To segregate means to separate. And F, bringing separate groups together, that is integration. So F goes here. Okay, letter C. So on your paper, you'd write C, name that protest, and then number 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to read the scenario, and then you're going to tell me which one of these things I'm describing, and I will tell you to pause if you want to try to give the answer yourself before you press play. I walked to my summer job with my brothers 6 days a week. Last summer we rode the bus and it only took us 15 minutes. Now we walk 4 miles each way. It takes over an hour, but it is important for us to send a message. The bus company needs to know that we do not support segregated seating and discrimination. So pause and pick an answer. Okay, hopefully you picked boycott. It was scary, but we sat down at the lunch counter and waited to be served. It wasn't fair that this diner refused to serve blacks, and we decided to sit at that counter until they did serve us. We didn't make a scene, didn't yell, didn't break stuff. We just sat there and waited. Angry people came up and hit us, yelled in our faces, and even dumped a milkshake on my friend's head. But we stayed. After 3 straight days, the diner finally decided to serve us. Pause. And hopefully you picked sit in. Number 3, my feet hurt. We are on day 3 of our 4-day walk from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. We travel about 12 miles a day and sleep in the fields alongside the road. It isn't easy, but we sing songs and meet other people as we walk. Our goal is to get the state and federal politicians to help blacks vote in the South. We hope that having over 25,000 in our group will get their attention and make change. Pause. And this is a march. Number 4, a bunch of my friends from college and I joined other students and drove to the South to get African Americans to register to vote. Many were scared because groups like the KKK had been beating up people when they went to the polling places. If a boss found out that his black employee was registered to vote, he fired him. We went down to educate them about their rights and support them so they could get out and vote. Pause. This is a voter registration drive. Okay, letter D, alphabet soup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're looking for the letter that's missing. So in SNCC, we know this word has to begin with an S. Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and the answer is student. Number 2, CORE. So we're looking for the acronym CORE, Congress on Blank Equality. It must start with an R. So the answer is radical, racial, Congress on Racial Equality. SCLC, this was Martin Luther King's organization, and it is the Southern something beginning with a C, leadership conference, and the answer is Christian. Number 4, the NAACP is the National Association for the blank of colored people, and that would be advancement. And the last one, COFO, Council of Federated blank, and that would be organizations. Okay, the last one is called Who Am I? And there are no numbers for these, but I'm calling them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can do the same on your paper. And we're looking to match the description with one of these people. So our choices are Thurgood Marshall, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Lyndon B. Johnson, and Linda Brown. I started the Montgomery bus boycott when I refused to give up my seat to a white man who got on the bus. I was the secretary of the local NAACP. Who am I? Rosa Parks. I disagreed with the way Martin Luther King Jr. fought for civil rights. I promoted Black pride and Black nationalism and was a member of the Nation of Islam. Who am I? Malcolm X. I argued before the Supreme Court for the Brown family in Brown versus Board of Education. Years later, I became the first African American Supreme Court Justice. Who am I? Thurgood Marshall. My parents fought for me to attend the all-white public school near my house. Who am I? Linda Brown. As the President of the United States, I signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Voting Rights Act of 1965, and Civil Rights Act of 1968 into law. Who am I? Lyndon B. Johnson. And the bottom, there's no questions, but it does give you some information about Supreme Court cases, and I know some of you are interested in that. So it will tell you the story, what problem was as a result of that, and the Supreme Court solution. So these are all situations that the Supreme Court took the case and made a ruling that was designed to provide more rights. Okay, so that's it. Let me know if you need help. Have a good day.